Hey, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Bastia Sylvester. I just talk about whatever I feel like talking about on my channel. And I try to find ways for me to not only help myself with my journey through life, but also help others. So I'm not going to be talking in the video. This is a voiceover, as you can tell. And basically, the topic that I wanted to talk about is covert narcissism. Because for forever, we all hear nothing about covert. We always hear about like people who are outwardly or, you know, um, extroverted with their narcissism, right? So you have a lack of empathy. You have like that they're self-centered, arrogant, not only in just the way that they think, but the way that they behave. Um, like they're cocky, they're manipulative, they're selfish, they're patronizing, and very demanding. They are not considerate of other people, and so on and so forth. That's what we're like accustomed to, right? Like, that's what we're known for talking about. But, like, I kind of sort of I was dealing with a covert narcissist uh, like a while back, and it felt so good for me to finally speak up for myself because, like, when you're dealing with a narcissist or you're dealing with a covert narcissist, one of the things is like, yo, don't take anything personal. And sometimes, like, you don't take anything personal to a fault and to a certain degree, and it's not healthy, right? So, I know you're like, what the hell is a covert narcissist? Like, what does that look like? So basically, a covert narcissist, uh, they don't show it the same way as everybody else, right? Like they're very subtle. They're not somebody who like they don't seem like they crave attention, but they do. So like they'll do things in the hopes or the guise that you'll give them validation or like that you'll uh praise them till to no end. But they do it in such a manipulative way where they want you to do it without them telling you to do it, right? Like, you ever had somebody like you gave them a key, or like you gave them like something, and you say thank you, and they're just like, that's it, just thank you. And like, you normally don't think much of it because it's just like, yeah, thank you. Like, what do you want? Like, you want me to make you a key? You get what I'm saying? Like what what else do you want? Um, but because they can't showcase how narcissistic they actually are or how much validation that they actually need from you, it's just like it brews in them. Like, and it's it's annoying. Um, they basically have like this they fantasize about success, and they fantasize about like an extravagant level of success, right? Like, it's one thing to dream big, but they just think that they're the best thing since sliced bread and that everybody is just supposed to just give them all the things, right? Like, everybody's supposed to be at their beck and call or just give them whatever. Um, and the thing is like, obviously you can't uh, you can't diagnose the people. They have to actually go to a therapist to get this diagnosis. But these are things that you could look out for when it comes to a covert narcissist. Because I'm telling y'all, I it's not that I was shocked. It's more so like, like when you finally have a reason, like you've been going to the hospital all day, every day, and you're sick. They don't have a reason. They don't have a reason. Everybody's telling you, giving you unsolicited advice as far as like what you should do and how you should do the things that you should do and so on and so forth. And you're like, what the hell? Like, I've done all of these things already and none of it is working. And, like you have all these people who are telling you, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you finally find out what your real issue is, like what your real diagnosis is. And then now you're actually doing things that are beneficial to you because you know what it is. That's similar to like how I felt when I kind of sort of started to piece a lot of things together, right? So I'm gonna read you like uh, some of the stuff that has to do with covert narcissists. Basically, they demand admiration and attention, um, but they do it in a softer way, so that way they can still meet the goal, right? They seek reassurance for their talent, skills, and accomplishments, and they look to others to feed them, like some need of like self importance. And then they also get mad at you if you're not that way, right? Like when I make a decision, I make a decision. I don't care who who else has an opinion. It has nothing to do with me. Um, and like one of the covert narcissists that was in my life, they did not like that. Like they hated it. They always had a complaint. Like when I say always, I mean it was annoying to say the least. But I never took it personal. I just was like okay. Um they love blaming and shaming people. Um they kind of sort of do everything in a gentler approach because they see what it does for like an overt narcissist. So like they pretend to be the victim to your behavior. And then like they'll try to put you in a position where you're basically you have to engage with them, right? So like let's say they tell you one thing and then in the middle of an argument they throw something else in, and then it's like what the hell are you talking, like those two things have nothing to do with one another. And then the person will literally, like especially when they're confronted with the truth, they literally hop from thing to thing, or like they don't want to accept the fact that you don't want to engage in arguing with them, that they're basically going to be arguing with themselves. They want to assert like dominance, and it's like I'm gonna need you to pipe down. They like to be, they create a lot of confusion. They try to bring like a level of leverage between them and other people. They basically, they they put themselves on such this pedestal. They put themselves on the pedestal that you're on, right? And then they tell other people like, "Oh my God, I've done X, Y, and Z, and I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and if it wasn't for me, this person wouldn't have insert whatever the thing is." And it's honestly just them projecting, right? Like all of it, in my opinion, has always been a level of projection that comes from the covert narcissist. um, they disregard a lot of things, right? Like they procrastinate, they take too long to do certain stuff, and then get mad at you if they didn't achieve the goal that they had set for themselves, right? They are neglectful emotionally. Um, and it's honestly, it's sickening. Also, for me, I've always called people out on their shit because I call myself out on my own shit. Like I don't have time to lie. It's too much work. Um, that's another reason why I don't understand like how Austin Broom and all the rest of these people have the platforms that they have. Because I'm like, I can't lie to save my life. Like I'm lying. I can lie to save my life, but I just don't feel like it. Like if you ask me what I think of something, like, oh, do you think um I should do X, Y, and Z? 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion of it. I can see your point. I can be empathetic in my delivery, but ultimately, you'll still know how I actually feel about it, right? So, and covert narcissism can look like a lot of things. And like I said, like they play the victim a lot. They project a lot. They call you things that basically you're not, but that they are, right? So like they'll say, "Oh, you're lazy." And it's like, how? Like in which sense am I lazy? Whereas like everybody else would know you as hardworking, or everybody else sees your hard work, or like they see your grind, or they see that you're doing stuff. Um, Like I had a narcissist, like a covert narcissist, basically like lie for years. And like for years I peeped it, I saw it, but it was just something where it was just like that don't got nothing to do with me. Like I don't care enough. Up until it got to a point where it was just like, all right, you're doing the most. And then that's when like a whole bunch of like shit hit the fan. I found out a whole bunch of stuff from a whole bunch of different people in different walks of life. And honestly, I was annoyed more than anything else. Um, so like they love to try to basically slander you, discredit you, sabotage you, destroy you. Like that's their goal without saying that that's their goal, right? So like let's say you take pictures and this person's like, "Okay, I'm going to come take pictures with you." But every single time that they're supposed to take pictures with you, they never take pictures with you, right? They always have something that came up or they always got to do something or like, "Oh, I need let's say you have a pet and you need a babysitter for the pet. Yo, since you're home, can I drop off my pet to your house or whatever the case is?" And then they'll tell you no, that they're actually headed out or whatever the case is. And then you can't go to work that day because you don't have anybody to watch this specific pet. And then the person's like, "Oh yeah, I was home all day, my bad. You could have brought the pet over." And it's like, so you knew you were going to be home. I had a feeling I was, but I didn't know, so I didn't want to, what you call it, like, but you knew that I had to go to work and that if I didn't go to work, that I was going to get fired. But there's that level of not caring because ultimately their goal is to discredit you or to sabotage or destroy you. So, like there's so many things like you have playing the victim. That's something that a lot of covert narcissists do, where they'll just sit there and be like, it's everybody else's fault except for my own, right? Where they're just like, "Oh, well, I would have had long hair too if my mom didn't put a perm in my hair when I was like 4 years old." And don't get me wrong, yes, traction alopecia is real and chemical alopecia is definitely real, but you get the point. They don't take care of themselves. They don't do the work for them to actually reap those benefits, but they love to play the victim, right? Here's an example. This person basically was, you know, "Oh, my parents are the reason why I haven't done insert whatever." Like, "Oh, I didn't go to school because my parents didn't push me for school." Um, but it didn't make sense because it was just like, but you were in college. So how like how is it that they didn't push you to go to school, but you already made it to school? Like you were in school, so why didn't you finish? You get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. They love to play the victim, like they love playing the victim. And then after when you bring that up, instead of them addressing it, or better yet, like when you do address it, it's like they have amnesia because like years later they'll bring up the same sentiment and it doesn't make sense because it's like, okay, we've already addressed this. Like, why are you ruminating on this? Like, why are you so fixated on this one specific thing? um Another thing is like they'll you're everything, like you're gaslighting, you're triggering, you don't care, you're this, you're that, like, and they have all the list of things of like what you are. But the thing is like the reason why I've never felt a kind of way is because I know who I am, right? Like I know the hard work that I put in. I know the sacrifices that I've made both for myself, my child, for my family and all this other extra stuff. So I somebody coming through talking about, "Oh, you ain't did X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, actually I have proof that I was the one that was doing all of this. Like, not only that, but I was taking care of you too, bro. Like, don't do that. Like, and it's frustrating, like I said, because you don't expect people to be that way, especially like if it's one sided, right? Um, and it trust me, it do become one-sided. So, all right, what are some ways that you can basically uh move away from all of the narcissists and all this good stuff? Honestly, don't take shit personal. Set your boundaries, advocate for yourself, create a healthy distance. If that's not possible, I like cutting people off. Anybody that knows me knows if I express myself to you. I've expressed myself multiple times, especially because I try to be as understanding as possible. And I understand that people have off days, people have like off months. Shit, sometimes people have off weeks, but I also have to set a boundary for myself on the level of disrespect that I'll accept from another person, right? Um, so, ultimately, we all deserve to feel uh, and be treated with kindness and compassion, right? So believe in your own intuition and feelings. Don't let people gaslight you. And then it's sneaky how some people gaslight you because you don't even realize it sometimes. Uh, Remember that you can protect yourself, and that basically once you communicate your boundaries, you understand that their criticism has nothing to do with you and it's pretty much all them. It really makes it easier. It makes life a lot easier. Like my old boss used to have people come to the job, and if they were angry, she would just call me over because I wouldn't take any of it personal. And I would just sit there and let the person yell for like hours while I stared at them. And I would still listen. I would still de escalate the situation. But ultimately, I didn't feel no kind of way. Um, and, basically, like when it comes to covert narcissists, it's it's sad because it can really be a whole bunch of people. It could be your coworkers, it could be your boss, it could be your sibling, it could be your parent, it could be both your parents, it could be, people in your family. Um, and you don't even realize it. Like it wasn't until I was dating this guy and he was the one that like was pointing things out to me. So shout outs to him. So I think I rambled long enough about this particular topic. I gave enough airtime to this particular topic. Um, Everything will be listed down below as far as like what products I use. Um, if you need to go to therapy, go to therapy. If you need help setting boundaries, let me know. I'll probably make a video on setting boundaries. We can also definitely talk about like how narcissists are made, basically ways in which you become like hyper vigilant as a person through narcissistic behavior from the people that are around you and what that looks like. Because I don't think people really talk about the like people know that what the effects are, but they don't necessarily dissect every effect because there's so many ways in which everything kind of sort of intermingles and interweaves with one another because you got to remember a lot of our experiences, you know, are an accumulation of things, right? Yeah, it's an accumulation of your experience, the person who's experiencing that experience with you and their perspective, whether it's culturally, whether it's agriculturally, because something that I can accept in New York is not the same thing that I could probably accept upstate, and vice versa. There's just so many different small things, and I think that we as a society, we kind of sort of just want an answer. Like the answer is the answer is the answer. That's it. And the thing is, it's like we as people are not black and white. We are monolith, all of us, every last one of us, which is why I've never been able to not be a multi hyphenate individual. Um, but like I said, my books are currently available. I have four poetry books. I donate 30% of proceeds to charities. I am actually on the path to selling 200,000 copies. Would definitely love the support. I will leave and list those down below. Thank you so much for listening. If you've gotten all the way to this point, please let me know your experience with narcissists, what you've experienced, how you've experienced, what topics you would like for me to cover next. I don't know if I told you guys, but I have a bachelor's in psychology. I have an associate's in health sciences. I have mental health, just up and down certifications, as well as I am currently doing a dual master's program in industrial organizational psychology. Wow, I did not enunciate that. Industrial organizational psychology, as well as in child and adolescent development. Just to give you a little bit of background. But yeah, I've rambled definitely long enough. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Leave your comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. All right. Please be safe. Bye.
Tonight, can we stay?